Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Holy Week and a happy Easter. We're here for an early April update for our capital campaign here in Highlands. I've been meaning to do a monthly update. Our last one was mid-February, but things were a bit busy mid-March and going into Holy Week, so I didn't want to delay any further. So without further ado, here is our update. In general, everything is going very, very well, very smoothly, very much on time. And so let's get through it. The first issue is that of the rezoning. I guess this is the one hiccup. We were supposed to have what we thought would be our last meeting with the town of Highlands to be conditionally rezoned last month, so in March. But there was a mistake on the part of the town. They forgot to advertise it in due time, and so they had to move us to their April meeting. So it'll be April 18th, and we'll be letting people know and encouraging them to come to that town of commissioners meeting. But the good news is that we aren't expecting any pushback, really. We're very optimistic that this is going to move forward and we'll be able to close that chapter, as it were. So I think that's going to be very good news. Secondly is the work of the architects. In our last meeting, mid-February, we were just heading into the final stage of architectural designs that would be called construction documents. And so we've already hit the 50% mark for that. And I'm going to share my screen. Share. Here we go. And so I received this April 1st. You'll see this is the 50% construction documents. And so it's going very well and on time. Just to give you a sense of the amount of detail, I mean, it's getting very granular. So that's all very exciting. The construction documents are scheduled to be concluded on May 31st. And so they are on target when it comes to timing. And so just a reminder as to where we are with the overall position. This is our roadmap, as it were, for capital construction. And so we have made our way all the way down here to the construction documents phase. And so the architect's been very busy with this phase. And so assuming they'll be done on time, May 31st, we will be doing our last pricing to see where exactly we are. So we'll cross our fingers and hopefully we are at least spitting distance from our budget. And so looking at that financial viability, we will seek the final contractor guaranteed maximum price. And then we will be asking the diocese essentially for permission to progress into the construction phase. So that is where we sit. And here we are. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Okay. More information on the cost. Since the last video, we had a second general contractor do a cost estimation for our project. And we did that because we felt as though the firm out of Charlotte was perhaps too far away to get the most accurate numbers. And so we were thinking that they're padding the numbers, to play it safe. And we wanted a more local firm to give us some numbers. And so we did that. And good news and bad news. The good news and bad news, I guess, they came within, I think, about $100,000 of each other. So very close given the scale of the project. And so at least it's not, much more, for instance, but we were hoping that it would be lower. But I guess some good news is that even though they came to the final numbers at roughly the same place, that doesn't mean that all their numbers matched up. So one firm, for instance, with all the electrical came in significantly lower than the other. And then the other firm came in lower in another area. So by looking at both of these numbers, hopefully we can find savings there. But also, those were estimations based on the design development phase. So not as granular in detail. And so, subs, they need greater detail. And when they don't have it, suppose you play it safe and you pad your numbers a little bit. And so when we do the last cost estimation with the final drawings, then hopefully any padding that is there will go away. I mean, that's a hope. But also there's some design elements that may assist us in in reducing price as well. So, and on the note of general contractors, we have not yet firmly decided which one to go with. There are several good candidates, but we definitely are going to go with the candidate that best suits us and is just a good fit for what we're hoping to do. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's talk about design, just some developments when it comes to design. Things are moving apace, and one significant development. So 2 video updates ago, I said, well, maybe we'll look into narrowing the building as a way of reducing square footage, as a way of reducing price when we were well ahead of or above budget. And then we came to the conclusion before the last video update, well, let's just not get into that. May not be worth it in terms of, a major redesign or the narrowing of the building. And so we were moving forward with that, but the architects came up with an idea that in one way it reduces square footage, and then therefore hopefully cost, but at the same time, there won't be much of a felt difference. What do I mean by that? So essentially, here's the floor plan. And the earlier drawings had this wall a bit farther out. So you can imagine these side shrines. They used to be more rectangular in size. And so they thought of, well, reducing the size just here and such that they are more square in design. If you're in the main part of the church, you're not going to see any difference. But what that does do overall, and there were a couple other changes, but that was the main one, that would reduce square footage by 1,200 square feet. So unless you're in one of these shrines, you're not going to feel that difference. And so what this also allowed for was, you may recall that when it comes to the sacristies, in order to reduce costs as much as we could, we were looking at one of 2 options. One option was that if these are the sacristies here and here, one option is that they would only be one bay. Each of these is a single bay. And so it would be quite small. And the bishop had expressed his desires that it be larger. So essentially it would be a 2-bay sacristy. Because it's true, and I certainly agreed with him, like you always need that space. Things have to be stored somewhere. So what this square footage reduction did is that first of all, it forced our hand in terms of making it a 2-bay sacristy because it squeezed it in, and so it would literally be too small. But overall, we have a lower square footage, but it also picks up 2-bay sacristies, and you don't really feel the difference in the main part of the church. So I thought it was a clever suggestion. It also, the key thing that drove this issue was that by doing this, it simplified the steel and how the steel would be erected. And so this is a simpler version. So that means less steel, which means less cost. So at any rate, we can go into further detail, but that's getting into the weeds. So that was a major design issue. Also, let's talk about where we're at the stage right now where we start looking for to acquire objects from churches that are closing down. And so Providence has yielded an opportunity for us actually coming from Philadelphia. Actually, I don't want to do the full screen. I want to just enlarge my screen. So there was a seminary in Philadelphia, St. Charles Borromeo. Actually, my late uncle attended there. He discerned out, but he was married to my aunt, and they in the day had hundreds and hundreds of seminarians. They certainly have not those numbers anymore, but a big physical plant. They've decided to downsize and relocate. And so they are alienating a number of the things from these buildings, including a number of altars that just happen to fit very, very well with our design, with the size and shape of our building. And so these became available right when we're in the middle of design. And so they are of very high quality. Well, take a look at them individually. So these are some of the ambulatory altars. So just some of the small altars where priests would say their private mass, back in the day. This is another third. I mean, the craftsmanship is, that's spectacular. That would be very cost prohibitive, I think, today. And so these are of great quality. This isn't the best picture, but it's nonetheless a good, very nice quality altar. This is the one altar that's more of a Gothic design, and so we were wondering about that. And we thought, well, it would diversify, as it were, one element of the church. So we thought it would still be a good, very good fit. And then, yeah, these are small pictures, but we'll increase them. So these are larger. This is the Mary altar, and I'll show you where it can fit in our transept, where we were planning a transept altar. Just fits beautifully and perfect. And actually, one of the daughters of the Virgin Mother, the sisters that come out every once in a while, the background on her phone is actually this altar. I think she was especially impressed by the statue. Unfortunately, the statue is spoken for, but at any rate, it's a beautiful altar. The same with the Saint Joseph altar, and finally their old high altar, just of exquisite design craftsmanship. And so they're looking to divest themselves of these beautiful altars. And so it's a great opportunity to get something of very, very high quality, and not have to pay to have them made new today, which would just be prohibitive. So it's a great opportunity. So we're very, very strongly looking into this, at the very least, to secure them, because it would be an additional cost, of course, to install them, but at the very least to secure them. I love the fact that we'll be keeping them together, and I think they are too. In fact, they reduced the price because to honor the fact that these pieces will be kept together. So we'll be able to honor that. So at any rate, I really do think it's providential. There will certainly be memorialization opportunities for these, but it's a bit too early to speak concretely about that. But I just thought that was a great thing to share with you. So I look forward, hopefully, to having these in our church. Another great find is this confessional, this Baroque style confessional that's being sold. It must have come from some church. I don't know its full history. And so we wouldn't use it as is, but rather to take the front of it, which, I mean, just look at this craftsmanship. I mean, to do that today, that'd be really difficult. But to use the front and put it on essentially a two-room confessional, what I think we're mostly used to today. So be a great cost savings with, at the same time, getting something of very, very high quality. So at any rate, it's fun to be finding these items and seeing what Providence has in store for us to incorporate into what we're hoping to do. Also, let's go back to our construction documents. Give you a sense of, let's see if I can find, it's the front facade. Here we go. So just how, for instance, that Mary altar would fit in that transept. I mean, it's just perfect size. Fantastic. You will also notice the ambo here is taking shape. We've been talking about essentially how many inches from that door. So it's getting really down to some fun details. So just all these designs are definitely coming along, as well as our freestanding altar, though. There we are. Well, I know it's kind of hard to make out here, but the freestanding altar being designed, so that will be made new. But if we do get that altar from Philadelphia, you can see it here with that cupola. It's a very pronounced cupola. We'll have to see if it works, with what we want, because it will definitely be a dominant feature. but architects are suggesting some genuflecting angels, but also to build on this altar this back piece. So, none of this is set in stone. Even the script is off here, so it's got to be adjusted, things like that. But it's very exciting nonetheless. And then lastly, in terms of design, one of the huge cost saving options we were considering was the front facade. And because it was with a good amount of limestone, it was curved, it had these capitals and columns and little fonts. And so it was just a big cost item. And the stone, the one bid we got for it was like 1.6 million. That was just way too much. And plus, we're going to be looking in some other vendors because one general contractor thought it really should be about a third the price. So that's definitely something we're going to be looking into. But one option was, all right, and we talked about this in the last video, to make it a very simple front facade, sort of like the side facades, at least temporarily, and one that could be where this could be added later. So actually do have some images for that. That's not it, but this would be it. So this is one of the cost savings of, again, it was 1.6 million to simplify. So it's very dignified in being as simple as it is. So we'll see. But like I said, that curved facade that we've been showing can be added to this. So if that's something we want to do and the money comes in, we will be ready to do it. You also notice the steps in front. Those can also be optional. Remember, we are looking at every option on the table when it comes to cost savings. So at any rate, that could be part of the front facade deal as well. So those are the main design updates. Where are we? All right, I'm going to stop sharing. So let's discuss timing. So this is actually really good news. Very exciting, actually. The last video we were looking at around a Labor Day start, but I'm very happy to announce we think we can start earlier than that. In fact, we're looking at bifurcating the project to two packages. One would be a demolition package that would demolish the current offices, and the offices again would be moved to the Bishop Waters building, the old rectory that is behind, and so that can be ready to go. And so that would be one package, and then the other, of course, would be the rest of this project. And so we're very seriously looking at the demolition package for around Memorial Day weekend. So right at the beginning of the season to start seeing some great progress being made right off the bat. And so I think that's very doable. Of course, variables can always affect things, and I reserve the right to have to make adjustments just based on needs. But great, that looks hopeful, as well as a July groundbreaking. So our patronal feast is July 16th, Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So that could be the date or around there. Hopefully, the bishop would come for that event. We'll have to invite him and work around his calendar. Again, there are different variables that last cost estimation, permitting, things like that. But cautiously optimistic that we can start moving forward with these. And so again, construction documents should be completed at the end of May. And then we're going to get that last cost estimation, finalize our general contractor in the month of June, but doing that early package of demolition, of course, at the end of May, beginning of June, and then prepping ourselves for July groundbreaking, which will be very exciting. So once again, thank you for all of your support. And please keep this in your prayers, especially in your daily rosary. We look to have a very exciting season. I'm glad to see this stuff finally starting to launch, as it were. And hope to see you all soon at the beginning of season. That is, if you're not already here, and I see you every week. So take care. God bless.